Title: The Power of Absence, Why It's More Impactful Than Presence. There's a truth that many people don't realize until it's too late. We often don't appreciate what we have until it's gone. The moment you pull away, everything changes. Suddenly she's thinking about you non-stop, questioning everything, and wondering if she made the biggest mistake of her life. But why does this happen? And more importantly, how can you use this to your advantage? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your absence is often more powerful than your presence. 1. The initial relief. But it's not what it seems. At first, she may feel a sense of relief. She might have expected you to chase after her or try to win her back. Perhaps she even told herself she needed space, but secretly assumed you'd wait for her. When you don't reach out, when you don't try to fix things, she assumes she's won. She might tell herself, "He must be struggling without me. He's probably just waiting for the right moment to reach out. He'll cave soon." For a while, she feels empowered. She scrolls through social media, hangs out with friends, and acts like nothing has changed. But something doesn't feel quite right. At first, it's subtle. She checks her phone, expecting your usual good morning text, but it's not there. She gets into bed, expecting a missed call from you, but her screen is empty. She hears a song that reminds her of you, and suddenly, the first hint of doubt creeps in. At this point, she tells herself it's nothing. He'll text soon. He always does. But as days go by, the silence doesn't feel like relief anymore. It starts to feel like loss. 2. The shift in power. Her sense of control begins to slip away. When a woman feels secure in a relationship, she assumes you'll always be there when she's ready to return. But now something's different. You're not reaching out. You're not chasing her. You're not playing the role she expected. At first, she might dismiss it, thinking you're just waiting for her to come back. But then, doubt creeps in. She checks her phone more often than usual. She reopens your old messages, reading through them. She hovers over your name, tempted to text you first, but stops herself, thinking, "Why should I reach out first?" And so, she waits. But the silence lasts longer than she expected. And here's the key difference. For the first time, she's the one thinking about you more than you're thinking about her. And that's when everything changes. Now you're no longer just someone she knew. You're no longer just an option. You're a mystery. And mystery is what creates attraction. 3. The emotional roller coaster. Denial, frustration, and confusion begin to set in. Here's something many people don't realize. Women don't process loss right away. Unlike men who tend to feel the impact of a breakup immediately, women often feel it over time. At first, she might have even felt relief that you were gone. But now she's starting to question everything. She tells herself, "He's just playing a game. He's still thinking about me every day. He's just being stubborn. He'll reach out eventually." But as more time passes, she starts noticing something unexpected. She's the one thinking about you more than before. That's when frustration kicks in. She starts posting cryptic stories on Instagram, acting like she's having the time of her life. She mentions you to mutual friends, trying to provoke a reaction. But when she doesn't hear from you, her frustration turns into confusion. Why hasn't he texted me? Did he actually move on? That question alone creates something she didn't expect: regret. 4. The unexpected realization. Eventually, she begins to feel the loss in a real way. When a woman takes someone for granted, she doesn't always appreciate their presence because it's always there. She never had to work for your attention, and she never had to wonder how you felt. She never had to experience what life was like without you. But now, things are different. She picks up her phone expecting to see your name, but it's not there. She watches a movie you both enjoyed, but it doesn't feel the same anymore. She meets other people, but none of them make her feel the way you did. And suddenly, she realizes what she's lost. But here's the part most men don't understand. This realization doesn't make her happy. It makes her anxious because now she's the one feeling uncertain, and uncertainty is what drives people to take action. 5. The moment she breaks and tries to reconnect. At this point, she can't ignore the feeling anymore. She reaches out, something she never expected herself to do. It might start small, liking an old picture, reacting to one of your stories, or sending a funny meme just to see if you'll respond. But make no mistake, she's testing the waters. 1. Testing boundaries. She wants to know if she still has influence over you. And this is where many people go wrong. They respond too quickly, and as soon as they do, she gets exactly what she wanted. She no longer has to wonder about you, and she doesn't feel like she's lost you. Just like that, you're back where you started. 2. The emotional shift. At first, she convinced herself she was fine without you. She told herself, "I don't care, he'll be back." But as time passes and nothing happens, she begins to feel it. Now she's looking at her phone, waiting for your name to pop up. She checks your online status but refuses to text first. She scrolls through your old messages, reliving memories. This is the moment it truly hits her. It's not just your presence she's missing anymore. It's the security and reassurance you gave her. The little things like good morning texts, checking in on each other, and the inside jokes only you two shared. Now all of that is gone. For the first time, she feels disconnected from you. This is when regret starts to settle in, but she's not ready to admit it yet. Instead, she distracts herself, but that feeling of loss is growing stronger inside. 3. Pride versus emotions. Now she's caught in a battle between her pride and her emotions. Her emotions are telling her, "You miss him, just reach out. What if he moves on? What if you never talk again?" But her pride doesn't want her to seem vulnerable. It tells her that you should be the one reaching out, that she shouldn't seem weak. So, what does she do? She starts testing you. She might view your stories like an old post, or show up where she knows you'll be, all while pretending it's a coincidence. But let's face it, she's waiting for a reaction from you. 4. The mistake many make. Here's where many people go wrong. They fall for these tests. They text first. They engage with her posts. They give her the validation she's secretly seeking. And as soon as they do, she regains control. She stops missing you and goes back to her old ways, leaving the power back in her hands. The power of silence. This is why staying calm and composed is so powerful. The longer you maintain your ground, the more pressure builds on her side. Eventually, when her pride can't handle it anymore, that's when everything begins to change. 6. The breaking point. Every person has a breaking point, and she's reaching hers. She starts to wonder, what if he's really over me? This thought drives her crazy. She starts overanalyzing everything. Was she ever important to you? Did she just become a phase? This damages her ego. Before, she thought she had you exactly where she wanted. She believed she could keep you as an option, that she had plenty of time. But now, she's not so sure. This uncertainty pushes her to act. 7. The turning point. Now she's the one waiting for your messages. She's checking your profile and wondering why you're not reaching out. And as soon as she starts to feel ignored, she realizes she wants your attention again. 8. The first move. She's ready to make the first move, something she swore she wouldn't do. After days, or maybe even weeks of holding back, she finally cracks and sends that first message. But trust me, it won't be straightforward. She won't just say, "I miss you," or "I was wrong." Instead, she'll come up with a subtle excuse to start a conversation. "Hey, did you ever get that thing we talked about?" Or, "I saw something that reminded me of you." 9. The test continues. Why does she do this? She's testing you. She wants to see if you'll jump at the opportunity or if you'll stay calm and composed. Here's where many people make a big mistake. They respond too eagerly. They over-explain themselves or act like they were just waiting for her message. When they do this, her curiosity fades, her ego is restored, and she stops missing you again. 10. Staying calm. So what should you do instead? You stay cool. You reply slowly and stay neutral. Don't overinvest in the conversation. She wants to know if you still care, if you still have a chance at reconnecting. She wants to feel that emotional connection again, but the key is not to fall back into old patterns. If you do, you risk making the same mistakes. Keep your calm, hold your ground, and let things unfold naturally. 10th, let her do the chasing. Instead of going back into the same patterns, let her do the chasing. If she texts first, take your time to reply. If she wants to meet up, suddenly you're busy. If she asks if you're seeing someone, stay mysterious. The more uncertainty you create, the stronger her feelings grow. The more she chases you, the more power you have. Because now she's not just missing you, she's afraid of losing you forever. 11. The power of absence. She starts to romanticize you again. The longer you remain silent, the more powerful your presence becomes in her mind. At first, she was confident, thinking she had all the time in the world to figure out what she wanted. But now, she's replaying every single moment in her head, romanticizing the way you treated her. Your kindness now seems rare, and your attention feels like a privilege she took for granted. Your presence feels like a void that no one else can fill. Why? Because people often crave what they no longer have, and right now, she no longer has you. This is when the mind tricks start kicking in. She begins rewriting history. Suddenly the fights don't seem so bad. The problems feel less serious, and the reasons she pushed you away seem small and insignificant. She starts to believe that maybe, just maybe, she made a mistake. When a person starts questioning themselves, that's when they become vulnerable. And vulnerability leads to emotional action rather than logic. She now needs to find a way to pull you back in. 12. The unexpected jealousy. She wonders if she's lost you to someone else. Jealousy is one of the most powerful emotions, and right now, that thought is haunting her. What if he moved on? What if someone else is making him happier than I did? What if I was just a phase? That thought burns inside her. At first, she denies it. She convinces herself you're still available and that she can get you back whenever she wants. But then she sees something. Maybe you posted a picture looking happier than ever, or maybe you liked a comment from someone else. Perhaps a mutual friend mentions your name, and you seem completely unbothered. Suddenly, the illusion of control she once had shatters. Now she's not just missing you. She's feeling the fear of being replaced, and that fear pushes her to take action. She now desperately needs to know where you stand. But the moment she reaches out, she's already lost the upper hand. 13. The accidental encounter. She tries to make you notice her again. By now, she's tried everything to get your attention, viewing your stories, liking your posts, and even sending subtle texts to see if you'll respond. When nothing works, she takes it a step further. She shows up where she knows you'll be. She might go to the gym at the same time, attend social events where you're likely to be, or post indirect messages clearly meant for you to see. The moment you notice her, she acts completely casual, unbothered, like she wasn't thinking about you at all. But the truth is, she's been obsessing over how to get your attention for weeks. And now that she's in front of you, she's waiting to see if you'll bite. Most people fall for this trap. They engage, start small talk, and give her the reaction she craves. The second they do, she feels back in control. But if you stay composed, if you treat her like just another person in the room, her ego takes the biggest hit. That's when she starts to feel the consequences of her choices. 14. The emotional outburst. She can't hold it in anymore. There's only so much emotional suppression a person can handle before they break. And for her, this is when it happens. After weeks of silence, doubt, and emotional turmoil, she finally loses it. It might be subtle, like sending a longer, more emotional message, or it might be more intense, like calling you out of nowhere, bringing up old feelings, or even crying. Either way, she's at a point where she can't pretend anymore. Her mind is screaming for closure. She wants to know, do you still care? Are you really done with me? Was I not enough? This is where most people make their biggest mistake. They see this emotional outburst and assume it's about love. They think that if she's this emotional, she must still care. But don't be fooled. This isn't about love. It's about control. She hates losing. She hates uncertainty. She hates not knowing where she stands. And right now, you're the only one who can give her that answer. What should you do? Stay calm. Don't react emotionally. The second you match her energy, you fall right back into her trap. Closing thoughts. If this video gave you clarity, you're going to love the one on your screen right now. It dives even deeper into the psychology of attraction. Don't miss it. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.